أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى عترة الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وأجل فرجهم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is the third of our series of 8 talks on Hajj, bringing it home. And we are doing this in honor of Imam Muhammad al-Taqi alayhi salam because of the discussion that he had with Yahya ibn Akham, where he was asked in the debate, what is the kafara of a person in ihram who hunts? So in honor of that and remembering Imam Muhammad al-Taqi, because his shahadat is coming up, his Shahadat Day, which we will be commemorating in a few days' time, we thought it would be good to actually look at the Hajj. And obviously, because none of us are able to go to Hajj this year, then we thought it would be a good idea to actually bring it home. So I'm actually looking at all the rites of the Hajj, and we've started off with the Umrah, which is the first part of the Hajj, and we've looked at the Niyyah and Ihram, and today we will look at the Tawaf. I suggest that although we are doing this in honor of Imam Muhammad al-Taqi alayhi salam, the Hajj is just a few days after his Shahadat Day, so it would be a good idea to actually revisit these lectures during Dhul Hijjah to actually bring the Hajj home during the time when we would have been there doing the Hajj, inshallah. And pray that we get the opportunity to go next year, inshallah. So looking at the Tawaf and how we can bring it home. So first of all, the Tawaf is obviously centered around the Kaaba. So let's look at the Kaaba. This is the house of Allah where all Muslims feel peace. When you go there, the first thing that you notice is the peace that you feel within yourself. So how do I bring that home? Let me look at whether in my house is this a place of peace for my family? What one thing will I change to bring about more peace into my house? And this may be just changing the energy from a very negative energy to a positive energy, where I'm looking at all the positive things, looking at all the blessings that I have, rather than all the negative things, all the things that are going wrong, and all the things that I wish I had and I don't have. It may even be just communicating much more with my family, so that they know exactly what's happening, and we can talk things through. And the other way to bring about peace within the house is when there's peace within our hearts. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. This is in Surah Rad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Indeed, by the remembrance of Allah do the hearts find peace. So maybe if we can remember Allah, then we can find peace within our hearts by maybe having Quran recitation, being recited around in the house, as I'm cooking, as I'm cleaning, as we're just sitting there listening to Quran, reciting Jamaat together, doing du'as together on Thursday night and so forth. So that's some of the examples of how we can bring peace within our house. The next thing that the Kaaba is the direction to which all Muslims face. And obviously this brings about unity amongst the Muslims. So how can I bring this home? Well, by facing in the same direction, as I said, brings about unity. So what one more thing will I do to increase unity? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Holy Quran, وَإِنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاتَّقُونَ. And surely this your ummah is one ummah, and I am your Lord, so have taqwa. And this is to show the importance of the ummah. So again, within my own, yesterday we looked at the internal unity that I need to bring about, because I can only bring about unity externally once I have brought about unity internally. So I looked at how we can ensure that we have unity in our hearts by making sure that there is nothing in our heart except the love of Allah, not even the love of myself, and breaking the ego so that I don't love myself more than I love Allah. And we talked about bringing unity with our words and our actions. So whatever I'm saying, it shows through my actions. Now today I'd like to look at unity within our homes, within our family. And we can do this by doing things together where we remember Allah. So like when we recite Salah, let's recite Salah in Jama'ah. Even if it is just one Salah a day, let's try to do Salatul Jama'ah. Doing Quran darsa, where we all recite, have a turn to recite Quran, and together we finish the Quran as a family. Dua Kumail on a Thursday night, Dua Ahad, There's lots of other du'as that we can be reciting on Friday morning, on Thursday nights. These are the days and nights of importance, and we need to do things together as a family. Even having discussions as a family is very, very important. So it's important for me to bring about unity within my family. The other thing the Kaaba is the link between us and Allah through Imam Ali alayhi salam, because Imam Ali alayhi salam was born within the Kaaba. And how do I bring this home? Well, I claim to be the Shia of Ali, but how well do I truly know him? To be his Shia, to use him as a role model, I need to know him. So let me today think of, look at something to read or listen to increase my knowledge of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And I've given a few YouTube links here where these short videos of about 7 minutes, giving us some sort of understanding of Imam Ali alayhi salam. The first one is on Imam Ali alayhi salam in the Holy Quran. And the second one is on 20 things that I should know about Imam Ali alayhi salam. And if I want to read, then there are lots and lots of books on Imam Ali alayhi salam on alislam.org. And finally, the Kaaba is a place where I can connect to Allah through dua, istighfar, and contemplation. How do I bring this home? I need to think about what percentage of my day do I feel connected to Allah? And what one thing can I do to increase this percentage? The problem is we get caught up in life. And we need reminders constantly. We forget. And so I need to remind myself by maybe setting alarms, by maybe wearing a tasbih or some sort of bangle or bracelet or something which reminds me to remember Allah. And this must have the connection with Allah so that every time I look at it, I remember Allah. Every time the alarm goes off, I stop and remember Allah, or remember my Imam, and then through that remember Allah. However it is, I need to constantly set myself reminders in order to bring that into my life. Then looking at the Tawaf itself, how do I bring this home? So within the Tawaf, we know that we do 7 rounds anti-clockwise. And when we're walking anti-clockwise, my heart is facing the Qibla all the time. So my focus is Allah, because the house of Allah is to my heart. We have in Hadith al-Qudsi that neither my earth nor my heavens can contain me, but the heart of a believing servant can. So I know my heart can contain Allah. I know it has been built in a way that I can actually understand Allah through my heart. So I need to look at what impurities do I have to remove from my heart before the pure light of Allah can enter, because Allah cannot enter into an impure heart. What one thing will I do in order to cleanse my heart? To take away the negativity, to take away the sins. I need to do istighfar. I need to recite Quran in order to cleanse my heart. While we are doing Tawaf, we are again reminded how the Muslims are doing exactly the same thing and bringing this concept of unity within us. The Imam is waiting for us to be united. What one thing can I do to bring about unity? Here I want to look at the verse in Surah Al-Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا, and hold fast onto the rope of Allah all together and be not disunited. So we've looked at unity within myself, an internal unity, where I've looked at unity in my heart and unity of my words and actions. I looked at the unity of within my own immediate family, how I can bring a unity in that. Now let me look at the unity within the extended family. And this includes my community, because my community is my family. How can I bring about unity within the community, within my extended family? I can do this in a number of ways. One is by remembering them in dua. Another one is maybe just connecting to them through a phone call, or just sending an email or a WhatsApp message just to find out how they are. The other thing that the Tawaf does is it reminds us that Allah is the center, the focus. I need to ask myself here, by bringing it home, need to ask myself, is Allah the focus in my life? And I can do this by actually, before every decision I make, ask myself, what would Allah want me to do? And in that way, then I make Allah the focus of every action, because an action starts off with a decision, with an intention. The Tawaf starts and finishes at the same point, Hajj al-Aswad. And this is a reminder when I bring it home that I come from Allah and I will return back to Him. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, we are from Him, and to Him is our return indeed. Today, in order to remember this, I will visit the graveyard to remind myself that the temporary nature of this life, that this is where I will be. What would I want written on my gravestone when I'm finally put under? How would I want people to remember me? What am I leaving behind? There are a number of things that I have given examples of us to do to try to bring the tawaf back home. I'm just going to go through them all very, very quickly so that we remind ourselves what these things are. So the first one was how to bring peace within our house. And I gave examples of changing the energy from a negative to a positive energy, more communication, recitation of the Holy Quran. And then we talked about how we need to bring unity within our families. And I gave examples of Jamaat Salah and Quran and Dua and discussions. Then I talked about how we are the Shia of Ali and we need to know him better in order to truly be his Shia and use him as a role model. And I gave some examples of YouTube clips that you can listen to. Then we talked about what percentage of the day I am connected to Allah and setting reminders in our lives to remember Allah and so that I connect to him throughout my day. And then we talked about how my heart needs to be pure in order for Allah to enter my heart. And we talked about how to cleanse our heart in the Quran as well. And then we gave examples of how we need to bring unity within the extended family. So it's not just within our immediate family, but our extended family. We can do that through du'as or just connecting to them. And how you need to make sure that Allah is the center of our lives, center of our focus. And we can do this by just before doing anything, asking myself what Allah would want me to do in this situation. We talked about the reminder of the fact that we will return back to Him and what I need to do to remind myself of this and be comfortable with this. And I think the biggest lesson is to think about what I would want written on my graveyard and maybe actually write it down and keep it somewhere where I will see it every day to remind myself that this is what I'm aiming for. That if this can be written on my gravestone, then I know I have been successful in this life, inshallah. So if I can just take away even one of these examples, these lessons to bring home, then inshallah I will have brought the tawaf back home, inshallah. Please join me tomorrow to look at the next stage, which is the salah of tawaf and how I can bring this home, inshallah. We pray that Allah gives us the success to be able to bring the Hajj home because we've not been able to go this year. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.